God of War redefined mythology for a generation, but how much of it was actually true to the myths? What did they get right, and what was completely made up? Today, we're going to be going back to the roots from the heights of Mount Olympus to the icy realms of the Norse Nine. Let's separate the facts from fiction in God of War. In Greek myths, the gods weren't noble, perfect beings. They were jealous, vengeful, and constantly meddling on human affairs. For example, Zeus cheated constantly, Hera tried to kill Hercules multiple times, and Ares loved war but didn't always win. God of War nailed this perfectly. The gods are selfish, manipulative, and ultimately doomed for their own egos. There was a figure named Kratos in Greek mythology, but not the one that we know. He had a minor personification of strength, and he was the son of Pallas and Styx, and appeared in Prometheus bound by Aeschylus. But God of War made him a Spartan general, a smart re-imaging. Since Sparta was obsessed with war, power, and discipline, he fits right into their brutal world. In Greek myth, Pandora did open a box, which was actually a jar, that unleashed the evils of the world. The last thing inside? Hope. The box contains hope. That's the God of War twist. Kratos ultimately uses it to defy the gods. That's one of the most faithful and clever mythology twists in the entire series. Kratos killing the entire pantheon is not a thing. No mortal ever killed all the gods in any myth. That's a pure video game power fantasy, and let's be honest, it's what makes the series so addictive. In myth reality, even Hercules, the greatest mortal hero, couldn't even touch Zeus. Gods were eternal and mostly untouchable by mortals. The Blades of Chaos in Spartan training. While Spartans were trained from childhood to fight, mythical chain blades like the Blades of Chaos, pure fiction. Though, let's be real, if they did exist, the Spartans would have absolutely used them. The Norse world tree, Yggdrasil, is the center of all realms. God of War even lets you travel through them via the world tree. That's straight from myth. Each realm having its own rules and time flow, also accurate. In the Norse myth, the world serpent is Loki's son, and destined to fight Thor during Ragnarok. God of War actually builds on this with a crazy twist. Atreus is Loki, so the world serpent is his kid? His future kid? Time loop? Either way, the myth lines up. In the myth, Odin was complex, wise, cunning, and obsessed with knowledge. He sacrifices an eye for wisdom. In God of War, he's more of a manipulative dictator, closer to Zeus in behavior. It works for the story, but it's only a big departure from the philosophy myth Odin. In Norse myth, Freya is a Vanir goddess of love, fertility, and war, but she isn't Odin's ex-wife. That's a game invention. She was a badass in her own right though, and the game nails that energy. Loki in Norse myth is chaotic, a shapeshifter, a trickster, and definitely not of the notable son of Kratos. But God of War remixes Loki's character to make him more sympathetic, while still hinting that there is that chaos deep down. It's a blend of inspiration and renovation. Let's be real, God of War isn't a history lesson, it's a mythology fan fiction at its finest. But here's the genius. Every change, Kratos existing, gods dying, Freya rebelling, it all serves the theme rage, fatherhood, fate, and redemption. They're not rewriting myth to be edgy, they're reinterpreting it to a new tale for emotional story. You might remember that golden bear from Freya's scenes. That's Gullinbursti, a real mythological creature, forged by the dwarves Brock and Sindri, ridden by Freya into battle. God of War includes it more of an authentic and character depth, but it's yet another character to direct, nod, and reel into Norse's lore. Skoll and Hattie, the wolves that chase the sun and moon. In the myth, these two wolves chase Sol, which is sun, and Mani, which is moon, across the sky during Ragnarok. They finally catch them, plugging the world into darkness. The game lets Atreus actually free the wolves, causing night and day cycle to break. That's a genius switch that turns the prophecy into choice. Now for the best character, Mimir. Mimir's head was one of the most accurate things in the Norse games. In myth, Mimir was beheaded during the Aesir-Vanir War. Odin actually carried his severed head around for wisdom, and God of War turns him into your just hilarious lore-dumping sidekick. Who knew the most faithful myth adaptation would also be the funniest? What could come next for God of War? Egyptian mythology. The devs have already confirmed they considered Egypt. Gods like Ra and Anubis are set for ripe storytelling. Imagine Kratos versus a giant sun chariot riding Ra. Stealth battles against Thoth the knowledge god. God of War isn't just a game, it's a modern myth, a reinterpretation of stories that are thousands of years old. They got the flaws of gods right, they twisted timelines, characters, and roles intentionally, and the most importantly, they made it matter emotionally. What if we're witnessing the birth of a new mythology? One where Kratos becomes more than a god killer, a symbol change of health and growing. And I would be so down for another God of War game, even if it was in Egypt. That would be even more killer. I've loved all the God of War games from God of War 1 all the way to God of 3, Ascendant, freaking all the way 2018 and Ragnarok. They were so freaking good. And when we had the storyline with Atreus, that was even better. Like in God of War Ragnarok, I love how we went out of our way to like have a little bit of side story with Angerboda in freaking Jotunheim with all the giants and her grandma, and that was pretty awesome. And we didn't get to see the world serpent as much, but if God of War did take its place into Egypt, I feel like that would attract more fans, because then we're starting to realize that this game is more than just a game, you know? It's going out of there just to like bring up the hype of what was, you know? Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button, and if you didn't, just dislike the video. You know what? Cancel me. Cancel me. You know what? Report me. If you didn't like this freaking video, report me. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I freaking love you guys, and if you didn't, I freaking love you guys, because everyone is the freaking best. Boots and cats and boots. Alright, see you guys.